Well, I will tell you this, folks. If that does not get you amped up for another great night of All-American Racing Series, I don't know what will. Here we are at night, round 7 on the All-American Racing Series. I am your host, John Ross. I will be with you all night long. We are going to be in the dark looking at the headlights of these GT3 cars as we come out with round 7 of your racing season here at Sebring International Raceway. And I will tell you, folks, this is going to be a really good one as we go through the rest of this night. So here we are under the lights. You're going to see headlights. You're going to see illuminated signs on the side of these cars letting you know what position they're going to be in. I hope you are ready for a nice wild ride tonight. So welcome once again to the American Racing Network. We appreciate everybody throwing a little bit of a like out there and chatting us up in the YouTube chat, if you will. We certainly appreciate that. So here we are again, Sebring International, 3.6 mile track, 75 degrees. And again, we are nice and dark, so there is going to be a ton of grip out here on the track. But make no mistake, this is still going to be a tricky place for us to get around tonight in round 7 of our All-American Racing Series. So we're going to see if we can dump this off, and we're going to hide this for now, as I want to show everybody where we stand right now. As you can see, the Sebring International Raceway in your background. I want to pop up our points for all of us to look at. As you can see, Blake Scott just had has had a grip on this series so far this year. 6 starts, 5 wins so far on the season. Trevor O'Neill making a great strong move up to second points. Mark Scott's going to be third. Mark did move up a position from last week, but as you saw last week, couple of little pit road incidents there for Mark. He shows to be one of the faster cars out on the track tonight as well. Nicholas Cody is going to be staying steady here in 4th. Kurt is going to move up a position. Jeff, who is on the grid tonight, welcome back, Jeff. Glad to have you back here. Lost 4 positions last week by not being in attendance. Wade Moskowitz is going to be in 7th. 8th is going to be Brian Beckett, moving up 2 spots. Miles Gilsinger moving up 4 positions, along with Mark Semanchik, who had the drive of a lifetime last week at Coda. Angel Rodriguez in 11th. Ken Huber is going to fall all the way down 5 more positions down in 12th. Robert Carroll, who is on the track tonight, in 13th. Dan Sheffer is going to be 14th. Noah Zimmerman 15th. Cody Williams falling down to 16th position as he had to take an early exit last week. 17th, Russ Martin Jr. Ron Losi is going to be 18th, tied with Rory. And then Leroy Koblenz is going to round out your top 20. So there are your points as they stand. Again, we have 5 races left to go. So it could be anybody's race. It looks like Blake is going to be certainly the driver to beat this season as we go through with 5 wins, and he is going to be your fastest driver out here on the track, as we are going to see if we can pop up where we are standing so far. We've got about 15 seconds left in the qualifying round, but as you can see, Blake Scott is going to take your pole position with a 201.015. Mark Scott behind him at a 201.125. Bob Carroll is going to be a 1.718. Daniel Sheffer at a 2.022. It's great to see Daniel up there with a fantastic qualifying position there in 4th. Josh is going to be in 5th at a 2.088. And we are going to see if we can pop these up for you all as we show the grid now. And here you go. We're going to hide our tower so we can show you this. So again, as we go through this, Jeff Perchatsky, glad to have him back so far this week. He was second in your points last week. You do get a drop week, so Jeff will use that last week as his drop week. So Jeff's going to start in 6th position. Miles Gilsinger is going to be a 7th. Kurt, fantastic driver, has been running very strong this year. Look for him to start moving forward early on in this race. Wade Moskowitz is going to be a 9th. Trevor O'Neill in 10th. Manuel, glad to have him back as well. I don't believe we saw him last week. Is going to be 11th. Angel Rodriguez in 12th. Brian Beckett 13th. Noah Zimmerman 14th. Mr. Alan Glass is going to be in 15th. Cody Williams is going to start 16th, and then Russ Martin is going to round out your field. So 17 drivers are going to take the green flag tonight, as we are going to hide this, and we are going to do what we always do every week, folks. We're going to peel back this intro music just a little bit. We're going to quiet that thing down as we're going to get ready to go green. Top left-hand corner is going to be your timing tower. You're going to see the interval between positions. Those that are in yellow are going to be the drivers that we are highlighting, or our camera is on. We have several different angles for you tonight that we will show. And then, as always, we're going to have the battle box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen that is going to show you the difference between one position to another. So here we go. Again, it is going to be a nighttime race here at Sebring. Lots of grip. Watch that very first turn, as that is a high-speed corner under braking. These cars like to get loose. I believe you're going to see quite a few spins there, and so we will keep an eye on that. So Aerokinetics again dominating your front row with Blake and Mark Scott 1 and 2. Bob Carroll 3rd. It's really good to see Bob up here. I know he has a ton of speed. He has shown that he has a lot of speed. And there's been a couple of tracks that have not been his forte, but I do believe that you are going to see Bob here really running strong. And don't forget, folks, Sebring International Raceway is going to be your endurance race here in a couple of weeks. We have Bathurst coming this weekend. Then a month later, or 3 weeks later, really, is going to be Sebring. So we'll have GTPs, LMPs, and then we are going to have your GT3s as well. So full field, just like you will see on the IMSA track. So again, thank you for joining in for the American Racing Network. If you would like us to highlight a driver, we are certainly more than welcome to do that. Just throw us a like, throw that in chat, let me know what driver you want to highlight, and we will certainly do that for you. As they come around the track trying to get their tires warm, again, Blake Scott really having a stranglehold on this league so far this year. 5 wins out of 6 starts for that driver, just doing a fantastic job. And as you can see, that Mustang pace car lapping them around this track. This will be a tricky track. There are some flat turns, not a whole lot of elevation here at Sebring, but a lot of high-speed turns in these GT3 cars. They like to get loose. They like to get loose under braking, and I think you're going to see that. So very interested to see how these Mustangs and Corvettes are going to handle that. I would think your stronger cars, maybe your Porsches, maybe your Ferraris, maybe even your Acuras are going to be a lot better under braking in those high speeds. But we will wait and see. As you can see, a couple of Mustangs are going to be starting 1, 2 on the field. And again, those are those Aerokinetics Mustangs of Mark and Blake Scott going 1 and 2 here on your field. Going through Sunset, you will see this pace car start to peel off, and that is going to leave that in the hands of Blake Scott. At night here, round 7, Sebring Raceway. As you see them start to fan out already. 3 and 4 wide, 3 wide now, 4 wide now. Oh, we've already got one in the wall that looks like Trevor O'Neill in the back, and we will go back and look at that as we watch this race for first place. An early disastrous wreck. We do get a fast repair, so we'll go back and take a look at that. As you can see, a little bumping between these two Mustangs as they fight for first position. Mark Scott going to take that lead, giving a little bit of a bump to his son, Blake. As they come through, we might be 3 wide back here with Miles, Bob, and let's see if we can pull up your battle box. And there it is right behind you as we are focused on Miles Gilsinger as Daniel Sheffer and Bob Carroll going side by side through these turns. And let's see if we can go back and start taking a look at what's going on, as now we are single file. We got a little bit of a battle in the back, but let's see. Noah Zimmerman is going to show as an off track, and he is going to just under braking, try to make sure that he avoids that car in front of him. So really nice job. And then a little bit later on, Noah looks like he is going to get back on track. Let's see if we can go back up here to Mark Scott, now taking the lead from his son Blake. Coming through these really high-speed turns here, and you're going to have a really sharp right-hander. And this is where they go here. This is where the drafting part is going to become vital here in the GT3. So you can see now Mark getting just a little bit loose. We have a spin. Bob Carroll around. We're going to let that all shake out, and we're going to go back here and take a look at Bob. Just really cold tires, getting his wheels off and just overcorrecting just a little bit, and everybody's going to find out. What a great job by this entire field to miss Bob Carroll. Let's go back, take a look, and see what happened to Angel now. Angel under the high-speed braking turn here in Sunset. Oh, and you cannot do that. Oh, and that is going to pick up Trevor O'Neill. And what happened, unfortunately, to Angel is it looks like he got caught up. We're going to look at this one more time. Angel getting caught up in these loose marbles that you can really see all the rubber on the left-hand side of that track, and he is going to just get a little pushy, and he's going to collect Trevor O'Neill, unfortunately, in that wreck. We're now going to go back live. Mark Scott still leading this race. Blake Scott right on his back bumper. These two Mustangs now looking about a 1.5 second interval back to Miles Gilsinger, who is having a fantastic run. Daniel Sheffer is in fourth. Jeff Perchowski up to fifth now, up one position. Kurt sixth, and then Manuel is going to be in seventh. Lots of action, lots of drama early on in this race. Let's go back and take a look at Josh and see what happened to Josh as he is going to come through. It does show him as crashing here, but it just looks like he, unfortunately, is just going to get those tires off in the grass and loop that car around. No harm, no foul. He's going to take that thing to the pits. Back up front here with Mark and Blake battling this thing out for first place. Looks like Blake giving him a little bit of a headlight flash, probably saying, hey, I'm going to stay behind you here going into Sunset. Do not worry about me. Let's go and see if we can pull away from this field. And that is what is happening now. So we're going to go back and take a look at Miles Gilsinger with an amazing run so far. The beginning half of this race, again, 60 minutes, 1 hour is going to be our race length here in the All-American Racing Series. Miles now in third. Daniel Sheffer is going to be in fourth as these two drivers are starting to warm up a battle. Daniel right on the back bumper, really getting a great turn in with these Porsche cars. Miles giving it everything. As you can see him going a little bit wide, getting over those rumble strips and the right-hand side of those tires off into the dirt. Again, very tight battle here as we still have an extremely tight battle for the first spot. Jeff Perchowski not so far behind these drivers as well. So if they wind up going side by side, he is going to be in a position to be able to take advantage of whatever driver is going to be passed. So keep an eye out for him. Kurt doing a fantastic job, as Kurt always does, just very steady, very fast. As you can see those rotors just glowing on that Porsche as he continues to track down Jeff in that Corvette. Manuel, again, great having him back so far this week. A fantastic run, already up 4 positions in 7th spot for that driver. Wade Moskowitz going to be right behind him in that Porsche. That same Martini paint scheme as he has had all season long, doing a fantastic job. Brian Beckett with a heck of a battle with him and Angel Rodriguez last week at Coda. Again, doing what he does. Fantastic top 10 races. As we're now going to go back up front and check on this, again, this battle for first and second position as these Scott drivers, Yeah, he did eat the wall. Tyler in the chat saying that that he ate the wall. I'm sure you're talking about Angel Rodriguez. And again, once you get into Sunset and you think that you could drive that a little hard on the entry of that turn, because it's a really high-speed sweeping turn, and you get caught up in those marbles, shoot you straight to that retaining wall. And that is definitely what happened to Angel. But we do have a fast repair in this league, so I am certain he is back out on track. And it looks like he is, and he is in 14th position right now. And as you can see, folks, you see on that right-hand side, you will see the last lap. So a 201.114 for Mark, Blake at a 201.045, Miles at a 202.653, as this battle continues to wage on. You see certainly Blake a little bit harder on the brakes than Mark is. You can see those rotors glowing red on Blake's. Mark's just a little bit cooler. And let's see if we can go on board with these drivers. See, Mark just really taking it easy. It looks like he's going to move to the outside, and he's going to give the left-hand side. Now, he might be moving around trying to break that draft from Blake. Let's go back here and take a look at Trevor O'Neill with another incident and an off track. Just hard under braking going into that really tight right-hander. Back on track, no harm, no foul. We do show Josh as another accident wreck. This could be coming off of pit road. You can see him missing those cones, and it looks like he's just going to slow down and just wait. That's going to show him as an accident, but that is not. He is doing the right thing and waiting on these drivers. As we go back up to the front, watching these two Aero Kinetics Ford Mustangs battle it out. Mark and Blake. Mark leading this race. Blake looking very, very sporty as he is right behind his father. So we have this really high braking zone here going into the right-hander turn. It looks like Mark just taking that turn and getting just a little bit loose. Blake really on him now. Looking to the right-hand side. You cannot fit a paper in between these two. He's going to tuck back in line, let Mark take this right-hander. But Blake right in the tire tracks of this driver. Let's see if we can go back here and take another look at this fight for third position, as Daniel Sheffer has not let Miles Gilsinger get out to any sort of a lead on him. Right behind him, as you can see on the bottom right-hand corner, you can see Miles is the one that he's going to have a little bit of a blinking issue, is that one that we are focusing on there in the yellow. 0.5 and half a second behind is Daniel Sheffer with a fantastic drive so far tonight. One of the better drives that we've seen him here this year. Jeff Perchowski is going to be right behind these two drivers in fifth position. Kurt in sixth, now up 2 spots from where he started. So again, if you look at third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, throw a blanket under these drivers, as I have a feeling, folks, they are going to be battling all night long. Take another look at this Martini paint scheme of Wade Moskowitz right behind Kurt, and he is starting to really put some pressure on. Just back 0.8 of a second here from Kurt. These two Porsches doing an amazing job so far at the beginning of this race. Only 10 minutes in, as we're going to come right back here up front. Mark still leading this race. Now got just a bit of breathing room here at 0.3 of a second. Hard braking zone here. Much better exit for Mark this lap than what he was last lap. And that is going to push him out to about a 0.4 of a second lead now. As it looks like, let's go take a look at Alan Glass, one of our newer drivers here to the league. Oh, Alan, same pace scheme as Daniel Sheffer, going to come off-road here, is going to take a hard right-hander. And folks, that is just a difficult braking zone there. And if that thing gets just a little bit tight for Alan, it just pushes that thing right off of the track for him. And that's where you get that off track. But he is back on the track here at Sebring, doing a good job now. That is going to put Alan, as we look back through here, in 12th position. That is up 3 spots from where he qualified. So let's go right back here up front as this battle continues on. Now it does look like you are seeing Blake just starting to peek out to the right-hand side just to show Mark that he's still there. He's in the draft, trying to find a way around, and now he's going to look to the outside of the driver. Now, Mark is going to have that inside line going into the sweeping left-hander of turn 1. We'll see how Blake handles this, as he's going to tuck right back in line and try to cross him over again. Hard braking zone. It does look like Blake is going to get that pass done, put him into the lead here. Mark's going to come back to second, as a great run coming out of Sunset is going to set him up for this pass in turn 2. And you can see just a little flashing of the lights there showing his appreciation for a pass well done. Now let's go right back here to Miles, because this battle is heating up, as well as Daniel now starting to put some pressure, looking really right on the back bumper of this Acura driver. Let's see if we can go on board with Daniel Sheffer. So you can see he's really trying to get that geared down to allow that engine to give him a little bit more slowdown, a little bit more rotation as he goes through, a little bit less brake needing to be used as you downshift quicker like Daniel is doing. Right on the back bumper of Miles, just waiting on that mistake, as Miles again going to do a little bit of a blinking issue here. Daniel and Alan Glass, again, partners, teammates in this league. See, Daniel is close enough now where he can certainly use that draft to his advantage coming down this backstretch going into Sunset. Really dangerous corner. This is one of your higher speed corners of Sebring. As you can see now, Daniel Sheffer really getting to the outside, coming extremely close to that barrier, being able to hold on to that car and get a nice run coming down the front stretch into turn 1. Another high-speed turn. Very, very difficult under braking. Jeff Perchowski really starting to figure this track out. That Corvette right behind him. This is 3rd, 4th, 5th position. Miles going to get the right-hand side of those tires off the track just a little bit. I believe Daniel's starting to feel the pressure now from Jeff, as Jeff's starting to figure some things out here in this Corvette. That driver just gets faster and faster and faster as these races go along. We are 15 minutes in, 45 minutes to go. Nothing going on up front, as Blake is now about a 0.4 of a second ahead of Mark Scott. The biggest and best battle on the track is right here, right now, for your 3rd position. Daniel Sheffer not letting Miles get away. Miles still having a bit of a blinking issue. Jeff starting to fall back just a little bit. We're going to keep an eye on that, folks, as we're going to go right back here to, looks like, Wade and Manuel. Wade, actually looks like Kurt has been able to sneak by Wade here. Kurt is going to take over that 6th position. Wade Moskowitz back to 7th, which Moskowitz still up 2 positions from his starting spot of 9th. Put Kurt up 2 spots. And again, another one of those drivers in Kurt that gets faster and faster as these races go along, as he continues to learn this track. All right, let's not stray too far away from this 3rd place battle. Again, looks like Miles really having a good, strong line in that Acura. Daniel Sheffer following right in his tire tracks, but do not count out that driver there in 5th position, as he is just stalking and waiting on some sort of a pass attempt to be made. You can see right behind them, Kurt and Wade are not that far behind as well. So if you look at this from about 3rd position all the way back to right around 8th, 7th, all of these drivers extremely close to one another. Now I believe will be a good time. Let's go on board here with Miles. Let's take a lap around Sebring International, as it looks like Miles just a little bit more of a blinking issue, and we're just going to be quiet, turn this thing up, and let's listen to Miles navigate this track. As you can hear, Miles really working the throttle on that car out of each turn. Even though we are at night, we'll have a little bit cooler temperatures out here on this track. You can hear that these cars are still a handful as he continues to fight for that podium position, still running in 3rd. Right behind him, Daniel Sheffer still just breathing down his neck in a fight. Your leader now turning a 2:00.985 and going purple here. Last lap up 0.7 of a second on 2nd place of Mark Scott. So again, your biggest fight and battle is right here for this 3rd place. Is 3rd, 4th, 5th, right behind each other. 6th and 7th, not too far behind, and that is Kurt and Wade Moskowitz. As you can see them in and out of this picture, you can see them there in the 2 Porsches in the background. Let's continue to go on through the field. Let's check in on Brian. Brian doing really what this Snap-on orange and black car does every single week, which is find a good spot to run in, turn some good quality laps, run these top 10s, and be extremely consistent. Tonight, no different for this driver, who is now in 9th. Bob Carroll, you saw him a little bit earlier have that issue on the long backstretch, looping that around, now up to 10th, and it looks like Brian's going to have a bit of an issue. He might have gotten a contact in that wall, and he is going to come into the pits. That is going to turn 9th place over to Brian. or to Bob, I'm sorry, as Brian goes into the pits. Noah Zimmerman with an off track a little bit earlier on has rebounded up to 11th position, put him in 9th as he goes by Brian, who has had to come down pit road. 10th position now for Noah Zimmerman. Allen running in that 11th spot. His teammate and Daniel Sheffer still in 4th position. Trevor O'Neill with a little bit earlier mishap and spin under when the green flag dropped, fighting his way back. He is up to 13th. This is the driver that finished 2nd last week at COTA, so look for him to continue to push that car, try to get himself up into the top 10 here before this race is over, as we are not quite halfway, 22 minutes in. Angel Rodriguez, we saw him touching that wall earlier on through Sunset, has the fast repair completed on that car. He is sitting in 14th. Josh, a few off tracks, a couple of spins in that Acura, now sitting in the 15th position, down 10 spots from that starting spot of 5th. Great qualifying by that driver, and just having a couple of little issues that has put him in the back of this field now. Let's go back up front as Mark Scott, with a great couple of laps, has started to put pressure back on his son, Blake. Both of these drivers up 11 seconds over 3rd spot, but do not look now, because this is still a battle that is waging on between these two drivers. Hopefully good, clean entrance to pit road from Mark this race keeps this thing close and gives him a fighting chance here at the end of this race. It does look like Angel has went into the pits. Alan Glass going into the pits now, so you can start to see some early pit stops happening, as it doesn't look like we are quite halfway, about 24 minutes into your 60-minute race. Mark not letting go of the back end of Blake's car. This is really the deepest in a race so far that Blake has had this kind of pressure on the back tail panel of that Mustang. Mark the one to provide it to him. Trevor O'Neill now in the pits. Allen is going to be exiting the pits now. As you can see, Blake really taking that Sunset all the way out to those tire barrels. Mark just a little bit shorter, using every inch of this track to get every bit of speed that they can get out of this thing. Both of these drivers, a 201, 211 from Blake, a quicker 201, 137 from Mark, as this battle is now starting to heat up. Mark really right on the back bumper of his teammate. Yeah, Caroline, I know this has got to be pretty hair-raising for you, but they are tied into a battle. Good for both of these drivers. As you can see, really Mark getting into the turns a little bit better than Blake is right now. Blake really strong on the exits, but you can really tell Mark getting on that car as hard as he can. Again, at night, it's really nice to see those rotors start to glow. You know that Mark's tires, and you can hear him kind of go into that entry and see it by those brake rotors glowing. As you can see, Blake's now just a little bit of color on those, but Mark's a bright red. You know he's really driving that car into these turns to stay on top of Blake. I believe Blake just kind of really focusing on the exit. So two drivers, two different theories, one getting hard in the turn, one driving hard on exit. So really interested to see how this thing is going to go. As now you can see both of these drivers deciding to come down pit road. 26 minutes for both of these drivers. So we could have a two-stop race, as it looks like all of these drivers here at Sebring coming in prior to the halfway mark. Nice clean entry for most of these drivers. Now Manuel is going to assume the lead, but he is going to come in. Let's see if anybody can be able to make it another lap. Noah Zimmerman is going to assume the lead if he can cross the start-finish line with fuel. If he cannot, this is going to be quite the, and he cannot. He is going to come into the pits as well. So there's going to be a little bit of strategy play out here, folks, as we're going to have a splash and go, I believe, scenario before the end of this race. So look at about 54, 55 minutes in, we're going to have drivers having to come down, get a splash of fuel to get back out here on the track and turn a few laps. Blake coming out of the pits a little bit stronger than Mark, is going to have a bit of breathing room, about a 1.3 second lead. So we're going to keep an eye on that, see if Mark can track him down. As we go back here, Jeff Perchowski in and out of the pits a little bit faster than Miles. Miles now having to fight, as it looks like this Corvette jumped over the top of Miles for that podium position in third. Miles right behind him, and this battle is on. Miles taking a hard dive in the right-hand side, is going to take that spot over. Jeff going to try to cross over. Oh, and he's going to try to make it happen. Gets a little loose. Right-hand side of the tires off in the grass for Jeff Perchowski. He's going to have to resign himself to falling back here to fourth, as Miles with a super aggressive move out of the pits, taking that third position back over. Yeah, Kathy, they do. I mean, you can see here on the top left-hand side of your timing tower, both of those Scots up 10.7 seconds to third position. So we're going to keep an eye on that fight as it goes along. The interval now about a second. It was about 1.3 seconds coming out of those pits. So it does look like Mark a little bit quicker so far tonight than Blake has been. Blake finding a great spot to get by Mark here on this long straightaway that we're watching these two drivers on now, able to find a way around Mark. But it looks like Mark with a little bit more speed than Blake is, so we'll keep an eye on that. Again, this fight still waging on. We're going to go right back here to the 9th position, as it looks like Manuel and Brian Beckett were, and it looks like Bob Carroll going to get loose again just through sunset, and just gassing it up just a little bit early. Oh, just a heavy impact to the front end of that car, and it looks like maybe that will not fire again, and he is going to take that car to the pits for repairs. My goodness. Let's go back up here to Wade and Kurt. As you can see now, this battle has been going on ever since the drop of the green flag. Kurt and Wade Moskowitz going at it. This now going on for 7th position. Yeah, Mark, shame you were not out here. Fantastic podium race last week. I don't see that Marines Porsche out here tonight. We wish you were here, but it is a night race here at Sebring. And it has been a good one so far. As it looks like now you can see Wade just kind of muscling his way around Kurt. Kurt doing a little bit of a back off and lift on that gas pedal to allow Wade to get around him. Let's go right back up here to your third position. Jeff Perchowski not allowing Miles Gilsinger to get away. Appreciate you all joining us here on the American Racing Series. On vacation this week. All right, well, listen, I hope you are enjoying your vacation. We're all afforded a few of those, I think. Yeah, Blake and Mark really doing a fantastic job. The gap now 1.17 seconds as those two drivers with about a 13-second lead right back to this battle here for third position. Yeah, as usual, really dominating this race in those Mustangs. Yeah, I hope you're somewhere nice, Mark, for your vacation. Most of the country, again, in another cold spell, so hope you're enjoying your vacation. This is the tightest battle here on the track right now, and again, this is for third place. Let's see if we can get this back up where we can pop this up for you, where you can see that timing tower on the top left-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner. As you can see now, looks like Miles starting to figure this out a little bit, getting a little bit of heat in these tires, starting to pull away from Jeff just a slight bit. As you can see now, that gap at a second. But I will tell you what is starting to heat up. This gap right here, folks, first and second position, Blake starting to dart around to try to change that draft. Mark right behind him, flashing him, saying, hey, now's not the time to try to change that draft and break that draft. Is now Blake really getting out there on Sunset, extremely close to those tire barriers. He turned a 2:01.6 last lap. As you can see them start to come around. That's going to be on the far right-hand side of your timer. And Mark just about 0.2 faster that lap. This is the tightest battle now. That third and fourth place run of Miles Gilsinger starting to pull away now from Jeff. Jeff 1.1 seconds behind. Yeah, Mark, Miles has had some speed all the way throughout this season. It's been great to watch really his development through here. He's having a great run. I believe he had a quick car there at COTA, had a couple little instances that caused him to fall back a little bit, but you know, he's had a great car. He's been faster and faster and faster every single race. So great to see his progression, as it is all of these drivers here on All American Racing Series. Just a blast to watch them get quicker and navigate these American racetracks. Now this lead just down to 0.9 seconds. So again, Mark able to stay right in that draft of Blake. Let's go back and take a look at Allen. Looks like Allen getting that off track. See what happened to Allen. Oh, he's just going to take that just a little wide just to get a better run off. No harm, no foul. I want to go back and take a look at Daniel Sheffer, because Daniel, really fast Porsche tonight, has been doing a great job. I believe he just had a little bit slower pit stop than those other drivers. As oh, he is going to get extremely close to that wall as well. He is running in fifth, just behind Jeff and Miles. He's had a fast car all night long. He is down one spot from where he qualified. But I do believe that is really just from pit stops. Would have loved to see him continue to mix it up here with those two drivers in third and fourth as we now 36 minutes into this 1 hour race. Again, we're going to go right back up here. Blake Scott, still your leader. Mark Scott not that far behind him as the gap now just 1.04 seconds. We've got Miles Gilsinger is going to be in third. Jeff Perchowski in fourth. Every single race this gentleman has run in that Corvette, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger as the race goes along. Daniel Sheffer in fifth. We just spoke about him. Wade Moskowitz in sixth, making that nice aggressive move here on Kurt. Kurt falling back just a little bit in seventh position. Manuel in eighth. Brian Beckett is going to be in ninth. Noah Zimmerman rounding out your top 10. All right, folks, we're going to step away for just a second, play a bit of a commercial, and we will be right back with you. All right, folks, we are right back with you here, going right back up front to take a look at Blake and Mark. Again, as you can see, that battle not ending, that interval being about 7/10 of a second. It looks like Blake able to run a really good lap, and then Mark another good lap right behind that, just keeping this thing super, super tight. But that is not the tightest race on the track, is now fighting for a podium. Jeff trying to find a little bit of speed here. Miles under fire from Perchowski in that Corvette. Yeah, he is close, Mark. Now that gap down to 5/10 is now Jeff going to go out to the outside here, trying to set up hopefully a crossover move, and he's going to be extremely tight, almost making contact to the back bumper of Miles. And here we go, folks. The race is on for a podium spot, third position. as we're going to see if we can go right back up here to the front and take a look at these two drivers still fighting. 4/10 is going to be the difference between both of those. Coming down, getting ready to go to sunset. These drivers just 0.3 of a second with 41 minutes into this 1 hour race. And you can see really just having a good time with each other as they are flashing the lights at one another here. We're going to go right back over here to this battle for third position, as it does look like it might be just stretching out just a little bit, but still 0.6. And it looks like Miles still with a small, slight little blinking issue. This is a great battle here for the podium position, Mark, as you said here. And you can look at a 0.2 seconds as Jeff Berchowski still looking to find a way around Miles. Miles holding a great defensive line all the way through the Sebring International track. Miles again can stretch that car out just a little bit. Jeff able to get into the turns slightly better than Miles, but Miles with some great exit speed. As we go back and look, the lead now at only 0.3 of a second as these two nose to tail. Oh no, and it looks like Mark again, something is going to get snake bit as he is going to get that car turned hard right into the inside retaining wall. I do believe that is going to end his race and his opportunity. Oh my goodness, just snake bit consistently for that driver. Oh, such a great race going. Mark Scott having to take that car to pit lane. As you can see, he got those left side tires off onto the dirt. Hard right-hand turn into the inside retaining wall, just really crushing his night, unfortunately for him, as he had a fast car starting to put a lot of pressure on Blake. And we're going to go right back up here. That is going to now put these two drivers in podium position. Second place now for Miles, third place for Jeff, but this race isn't over. And look, as Daniel Sheffer has now started to pick up his pace, he is not that far behind both of these drivers. If anything happens between these two, that race is going to wage on. Jeff still really following in the tire tracks of Miles, trying to find a way around as we still have 15 minutes to go. Plenty of time. Just a huge change of events. Unfortunately, Mark having to come in the pits, get that fast repair done. Now, let's just keep in mind, it was extremely close to the pits that he did have that front end damage. That is certainly going to slow him down, but he was able to get a fast repair and back out. I am not certain these drivers can make it the entire way on this stop. They might have to come back in, and if they do, how much of a time loss was that for Mark, making impact to that inside retaining wall? Let's go back and take a look at Noah Zimmerman, as he is going to have another off-track issue. And it doesn't look like that is going to be a big issue. It looks like he's just going to have a blinking problem there. Wade Moskowitz showing a crash. Let's take a look at what happened to Wade. Oh, and he looks like maybe just a... Oh, and he is going to impact Mark Scott. So Mark's night getting even worse after having to take that fast repair. It looks like Wade's wheel might have disconnected. Something happened to him here. Let's go back and take a look again. Just straight lining right into the wall. Nothing changing for him. Hitting again, and then here comes Mark. And you can see the left rear just folding up on that Caroline. What a disaster for Mark yet again. Such a fast car. Again, just getting snake bit week after week after week for that driver. Really, that win has to be coming for him. I mean, you can't write this up, folks. What a terrible, terrible event for Mark Scott tonight. Such a quick car, right on the back bumper of Blake. Getting that car a little bit loose, hard impact to the inside retaining wall. Getting caught up in it. Looks like what Wade Moskowitz had of a wheel disconnecting, internet going out, whatever that might be. And then, of course, Mark just in the wrong place at the wrong time, taking that. I would assume, Mark, that he did lose connection on that wheel. That just looks like, to me, just from seeing it several times, that is certainly a loose connection on that wheel, in my opinion. All right, we're going to continue to go around this track as we're going to stay right here. Now you can see Daniel Sheffer starting to put some pressure on the back end of Jeff Perchowski. Again, now we've got another battle here for a podium position. As you can see him start to pull that Corvette back to him just a little bit. So you see Jeff is taking that really tighter inside line there, going across Sunset. Daniel just a little bit wider as he allows that that Porsche. Yeah, it's just unlucky, Taylor. He just he unfortunately has just been unlucky this year so far. His time is coming. Certainly you would not think that bad luck could persist, but that was certainly unlucky for him. Yes. All right, Jeff now finding some momentum. He is going to look to the left-hand side of, it looks like Miles is going to be able to hold that high braking zone off for Jeff, but Jeff still on the back bumper. We now have a three-way battle as Daniel Sheffer coming to join this. Daniel has found something a little bit late, probably saved a little bit of those tires, and we now have a three-way battle here. This is your second, third, and fourth place drivers. Miles finding a little bit of speed here. A little bit of breathing room, but Daniel Sheffer starting to put a lot of pressure on both of these drivers. Miles just a little bit off track there. As you can see, the left-hand side of his tires getting a bit on that grass. Jeff able to close in now as he's going to be back in that draft. My goodness, we have a race here for the podium as Jeff now going to look at the left-hand side. Miles a little bit of a blinking issue again. He is going to have a run here, folks. He is going to have, as it looks like Miles is going to try to protect that inside line. Jeff is going to have a good run on the right-hand side. Miles is going to be able to protect that. Jeff trying to stay on his right-hand side. Oh, and they're going to touch. Just a small little touch as Miles is going to get a little bit tight going through that turn. Jeff having to back off. Great job by both of those drivers to stay on the track. I really thought Jeff was going to get pushed off, but he did not. Daniel, again, just right within striking distance. Folks, this is the tightest battle as most of the other drivers have a couple of seconds in between them. So we're going to stay right here to the end of this thing as we now have 8 minutes to go, or 9 minutes to go in this race. This is your second, third, fourth place positions Miles Gilsinger, Jeff Perchowski, Daniel Sheffer, all three battling for your second spot. Your chance to be on a podium. Daniel looking back, just waiting for one of these drivers to make a mistake. Jeff having a pretty fast Corvette, but Miles driving one heck of a race, staying out in front, not really even driving defensive, but driving fast enough where Jeff just cannot get the run that he needs. I mean, if you like GT3 racing, you like it at night, and you like it here at Sebring, you can't get a whole lot better than this, as these drivers now, with 8 minutes to go, 52 minutes of battling, all within a second of each other for second, third, and fourth position. 27 seconds ahead is your leader of Blake Scott. Wade Moskowitz losing connection to his wheel, hard into the wall, picking up Mark Scott, who had such a great second place run going. Miles going to get the right-hand side of those tires off track just a little bit. Once again, Daniel Sheffer starting to tighten up on the back of this Corvette of Jeff. Alan Glass showing another off track. We're going to go to Alan really quickly, see what happened here. Daniel Sheffer's teammate, again, just going a little wide. No harm, no foul. He is back on the track. We're going to go back up here for this battle for a second, as it is going to tighten up once again, folks. Miles cannot shake Jeff. As now you could see right in front of them, you see Alan Glass, Mr. Alan Glass, as he would like to be known, there in front. And so that is a lap car that could come into play here. 7 minutes to go on the board. In front is Blake Scott by 28 seconds. We appreciate everyone out there in chat throwing in some comments. We certainly appreciate that. Me, as a lone broadcaster, love to see that. It certainly helps me pass the time as we call this. And now Daniel Sheffer really tightening up here on the back end of Jeff, as Jeff now losing the rear end of Miles just a little bit. That gap now going to be almost a second. Jeff having a couple of tough turns. Yeah, Kathy, and they're saying, stay steady, Blake. So sorry, Mark. Yeah, I mean, really, Mark, this isn't the first time, Kathy, that Mark has had just amazing runs. Now you can look, Dan Sheffer just having an amazing sunset is now going to put himself in third position for the podium. What a great pass. We're going to go back and take a look at that again, as I was missing that. I'm sorry, Kathy, so we'll talk about that in just a second, but you can see he took a little bit tighter inside line there into sunset, made that pass on Jeff. I think Jeff got just a little tight. Nothing he can do. But Marcus had some amazing, great runs. And unfortunately has had some pit road entry issues last week at Coda. Had a great run there. Tonight had a great run here, getting a little loose, and then getting bit by Wade's unfortunate accident. So, my goodness, Mark, thank the Lord that that Mark Scott is not in Vegas gambling with you, my friend, because if he was, I believe I'd stay far, far away from him this season. Jeff now falling back to fourth place, as Dan, after he has gotten away from Jeff, has started to put just a little bit of space between them, about 0.4 of a second. Now you can see that about a second up the road is going to be Miles. Yeah, I would not take Mark Scott gambling with me there at Caesar's Palace. I just don't think that's a good idea. Maybe not this season. Maybe next season. You can take him, maybe take Blake with you, but Mark Scott would not be the one I would take. You can see those rotors glowing hot red on Scheffer's Porsche as he's now trying to track down Miles, and track him down he is. He has cut about 3 to 4 tenths off of that lap. Yeah, Mark, I'll tell you, if it wasn't for bad luck, you would not have any luck at all, my friend. So great run going, had a really fast car. As you can tell, Blake up about 30.5 seconds now, folks, as we got just a little bit of a break. So we're going to go up here and really watch this driver. We haven't seen him a whole lot this year because he's had such a large space. We wanted to highlight those drivers that are in a tight battle, but Blake, again, has kept all of these fenders tight, damage-free. Had a heck of a battle there with his father, Mark, for most of this race. Now kind of clear selling for him. He can breathe a little bit as he, again, is touching his faster laps at a 2:01.066 last lap, 209.85 being purple so far in this race. So really close to that. And I do believe that car is now on cruise control as we're going to go right back here. Not to take anything away from Blake Scott, we've got just a few minutes left in this race. He is going to, believe, barring anything catastrophic, going to pick up his 6th win out of 7 races. But our battle is right here for second as now Dan Scheffer starting to feel that second place, getting really close to the back end of Miles. Miles had a bit of a breathing room after Jeff, a couple of little bobbles, but now in another blinking issue, Daniel Scheffer going to be on the left-hand side going through Sunset. What is going to happen here? Daniel, I believe, is going to try to stay tied to his outside, and he's going to make that happen. He is on the left-hand side of Miles, which is going to give him the preferred line. What a fantastic move late in this race, and he is going to clear him. Miles shooting back underneath. What a dive move. Miles not pushing wide. Oh, we're going to have another crossover. Jeff right there behind, looking for that third place, is going to be on the right-hand side of Scheffer. Rank and file now from the lap that we had before. Second place now, Miles with a great crossover move on Scheffer there right at the end. Scheffer did an amazing job through Sunset, staying on the left-hand side. Miles with a great crossover, and we are nose to tail. This is second, third, fourth in your race. Let's stay right here, folks, as it looks like Blake Scott is going to come around, and we are going to have the white flag. I believe we might have 2 more laps to go. As I do not see the white flag, he has about 30 seconds to cross that line, so we're going to have a few more laps to go. Right back here for your second, third, fourth position. Miles again holding on for dear life. And blinking once again. This is really about the same position that they were in the previous lap. Blake is going to pass underneath of the start-finish line prior to that lap being that 1 hour mark clicking over. So I do believe we have 2 laps to go. As it does not show the white flag, going right back up here to that second position fight. Miles battling for everything he's got in his chair. You know he is sweating, folks. You know he has white knuckles and had it most of the races. He had Jeff Perchowski going to go to the outside of Daniel Scheffer on the right-hand side. Not going to be able to make that pass work just yet. But that is going to help Miles start to sneak away just a little bit. As now Jeff on the back end looking for a podium position. Wants that interview. Did not make it last week. trying to get back to a podium spot, fighting with Daniel Sheffer. Daniel wanting that second place. I believe Miles has started to sneak away just a little bit. That is going to leave these two drivers in third and fourth to fight it out. Dan Sheffer with another fantastic entry to that turn. Again, rotors glowing red, trying to find a way around, driving it in for everything that he has as he starts to tighten up on the back end of Miles now once again. My goodness, what a race here at Sebring in the All-American Racing Series. Second, third, and fourth. Just a paper clip up with either one of these drivers. One mess up, one screw up is really going to cost somebody the race as they start to snake their way down the backstretch. The checkered flag is out. Blake Scott, your winner again, as we are again once more going through this last turn of Sunset, trying to find a second place driver. It looks like Daniel Sheffer is going to try to get really tight on the inside. He is on the back bumper of Miles. Miles trying to block him. We're going side by side, and Miles going to be in second, third place to Daniel, fourth to Jeff. Blake Scott, your winner once again, putting again 6 wins on this season with 7 races. Just a fantastic job again, folks. We love to give Blake all of the accolades that we can give him, but what a heck of a race there for second, third, and fourth. I think we all need to take a quick little breath. And what a great drive once again by Blake Scott. Blake Scott just doing an amazing job. Great race here. He is going to finish about 30 seconds ahead of that second place Miles. Daniel Sheffer there in third. Just a nail-biting run between all 3 of those drivers of Miles, Daniel, and Jeff for second, third, and fourth. That is what this thing is all about, folks. Yeah, as we can see there in the Discord chat of Wade, unfortunately, saying that his wheel did disconnect, and that's what caught Mark in that last little incident. So sorry to hear about that, Mark. You had a fantastic race going. All right, let's see if we can find our third place driver of Dan Sheffer. So we're going to move him up to the broadcaster's booth. Dan, you got a copy?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Woo! My goodness, my friend. I'll tell you, I have to take a little bit of a breath after that race. So, I saw you stalking Jeff for a while, and what a fantastic move to sneak to his outside on Sunset. Get that run going down into turn 1, and then it was just on from there. You and Miles just tooth and nail. Man, walk me through your race.
This is a track I do pretty well at. I feel pretty comfortable here. I thought it was going to be a little bit of advantage to me. No, there was no way I was going to keep up with Blake. But Miles he kept me in front of me the whole entire race. I pitted in a little bit early, hoped to get out. Pit didn't go so well. Had to catch up back up to them. I don't know if the tires got a little bit smoked there at the end, but that was a great race. Really enjoyed it.
I will tell you, through this entire series, these races and these battles for second, third, fourth, fifth have been some of the best battles that we have seen.
Yeah, they've been good.
It's been fantastic, super clean. There was a couple of times I think that Miles really ran turn 1 a little wide, but him and Jeff found a way to make it fit. You guys have just put on a heck of a show. It was a great way to call it. You'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all 3 of us were trying to find different lines through Sunset and turn 1, anything to make it work. But once we got through there, it was a real clean race. It was a great drive. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it was a fantastic job. I'm really happy to talk to you here on the podium. You certainly deserve that. My goodness, I know after those races, sometimes you just need to take a breath, relax a little bit, but we'll turn it over to you and give your shout outs.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my team. Shout out to my boys. Hopefully, we show up and do okay at Indianapolis and continue doing okay with the season and make up for some missed races. So, congrats to Blake and Miles. It was a great race. Look forward to next Monday night.
Yeah, you did fantastic, man. We certainly appreciate you coming out with us, and we'll see you next week.
All right, John. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. All right, there is your third place driver. I can tell you, he's not breathing as hard as I am, folks. I don't know how they make it through this race without just being exhausted by the end of it. But we're gonna go in here to Miles and see if we can find him. He is now in the waiting room. We're gonna pull him up and have a conversation with him. And Miles, John Ross here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you, John.
Hey, I will tell you, man, you played defense, and not only did you play defense, but you played it fantastic. A couple of little crossovers. We seen Dan really get a nice drive on the outside of Sunset on you. We saw Jeff really with a good drive through Sunset, but man, you drove a fantastic race. You didn't really look in your rearview mirror, but it looked like you knew if somebody had a good run on you. But my goodness, what a race, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, it was I'm gonna consider it a win for the AM class. Like, I mean, that's what it felt like to me. So I'm very ecstatic for it. Yeah, going through Sunset, there was only really one line that was gonna work for me. The Acura, like as the race went on, the tires kind of got a little bit rougher, and I really had to cut it in tighter to just kind of keep it, not going into the wall, right? So. But yeah, I credit that defense, like, growing up racing, in real life and, I always found myself in defensive maneuvers and in karting and in cars. So that was definitely, bringing the old of the past, back into the present was really fun. But overall, a great race with everybody. Daniel was great. Jeff was great. The little crossover had on Daniel, I think it was, into the first corner was great. He was respectful. It was just overall an awesome experience.
It really is, and I talked to Daniel about that in the interview before, which is, it's really fantastic to watch these races where you don't see anybody just ego driving someone else off of the track. It's really respectful, and it's hard racing, hard nose racing. Everybody wants to get that position, but man, some of the best, cleanest racing that you will find on the services right here at AARS. So fantastic job for you all night long. You show pace all night long. So I'll turn it over to you, Miles, here and give your shout outs.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to my family. Obviously, they support me in this. I gave up real life racing to move back to our home state. So this is really all I get now. So my wife is super supportive and giving me time to kind of, relive the glory days, as you can say. But overall, shout out to them. Shout out to the boys, Trevor, Manuel, Wade, Rory, Angel. We've been practicing, doing a lot of time together, and that camaraderie and has been really great and really helpful and making this work a lot better.
Well, here you are, second place on the night here at Sebring. Congratulations, Miles, and we can't wait to see you run next week.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, John. It was great.
Thanks, man. There is your second place driver, Miles, and let's see if we can't just pop up your winner one more time. So let's see if we can bring him in here to the booth. Blake Scott, you got a copy?
Hey, John, how you doing?
Well, listen here, Blake. Like, that one wasn't without its fireworks, right, my friend? Like, so Mark, getting that early lead on you, looked like you guys certainly were the class of the field, but you sneak back. You found a really good run on him. I believe it was on that backstretch going into Sunset. Got a really good pass done on him, but go into the pits, come back out. You got a little bit more breathing room. Mark runs you back down, and then all of a sudden, just really bad, right-hand turn right to the inside retaining wall for Mark, and that ended his night. But really good racing on the back end. Walk me through your race.
Yeah, man, we were having a great battle. It was a lot of fun out there with my dad. Unfortunately, he ended up looping it there, going onto the back straight. I'm not sure what happened, and then had some more unfortunate luck there with the pack. But yeah, no, all in all, it was a good race. He definitely had some pace on me tonight. Sebring, it's a tough track, especially in the dark. But give it up to him. He ran a great race. He probably could have had some speed there to pass me towards the end. I just kept making little mistakes here and there, and he reeled me back in. So yeah, props to him, and yeah, one of these days he'll get me.
Well, he was certainly close tonight, and then I don't know if you've seen it. You'll probably go back and watch the broadcast, but looked like Wade lost his input to his wheel and hit the inside retaining wall, bounced back up and hit Mark.
Oh no!
And ended his night. So you'll see that on the broadcast. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, everybody did a little bit of practicing when the sun was out, and it looked like certainly on these high speed corners, especially through turn one under braking, the cars wanted to get a little bit loose. Once the sun went down, did you find a little bit more grip? Was the Mustang just really able to turn through those high speed turns a little bit better than they would in the sun?
Yeah, definitely. There was more grip, but you also compromise vision. So yeah, going into turn one and sunset was very tricky. It's hard to kind of spot your braking zone, and then that inner wall can really bite you. Yeah, there was more grip when the track cooled down. It got dark, but yeah, I didn't practice at all in the dark. I didn't think this was a night race, so that threw me off. But we made it happen, and yeah, happy with the result.
Yes, you did. So you have 6 wins on this 7 race season. We've got a few more to go, about a handful, about 5 races to go here in this very first season. So, man, you are really putting on a story. We certainly appreciate it. Love calling it. And we'll turn it over to you here for your shout outs.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Shout out to you guys putting on the broadcast. It's awesome watching it back. This one will be fun too, with battling with my dad. Shout out to him as well. He ran a great race. Just unfortunate there. The family watching, thank you guys for always supporting us. And yeah, also Cody, thank you for putting on a fun league, man. This is awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Indy, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we will be there, and we can't wait to call another one. So fantastic drive by you. Great job, and we will talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Have a good night, John.
Thanks, Blake. All right, there is Blake Scott, your winner. We're just going to kind of go through the YouTube chat here, as it looks like, yeah, Caroline and Kathy. Yeah, it was a great race by Blake. Solid as usual. Mark, as usual, throwing some fireworks in there with some certainly some commentary and some color for us here in the booth. So fantastic job by everybody here. We are on to Indianapolis next week. That is going to be another fantastic track that is certainly going to throw up some fantastic races, some side-by-side driving for us as we start to narrow in on a season champion here. 6 wins out of 7 races. Blake Scott, fantastic job. We will see everyone next week. Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate you joining in here on the American Racing Network, and we will catch you next Monday. Thank you all.